Our state has some incredible problems. My name is Lynn Hinderrocker. I'm here to talk about that with you and talk about the trends that have shaped this state and dragged us in one direction or another. We're not really we're not realizing the dream we had way back in the early 2000s or even around 2008 or 9 or 10. My name is Lynn Hinderrocker. Welcome to Wowbiz Nebraska. We're going to get it on right now. What's the big idea? Thanks for tuning in here today on Wowbiz Nebraska. I'm Lynn Hinderrocker. I'm going to share with you a completely unique big idea. Now, if you've been around the business arena for a while, you know the big ideas pop up all the time, and people are talking about them for a couple, 2, 3 years, and then they kind of dissipate. Thinking about Six Sigma now, or the quality movement from Edward Deming, all those kinds of things. I'm going to share with you a notion about selling. Now, selling is at the core of everything that we all do. No matter what you do inside your company, you've got to be selling or comfortable doing that. But here's the thing. What if, here's the big part, what if you, as a human being, could become your very best self while at the same time following the sales process and making a sale to the customer? And the whole process of what it involves in thinking and planning and dealing with all kinds of unpredictable feedback as well as input. And by the way, all your internal thinking, the psychology and the philosophy of the whole process of selling. What if you could turn that into an opportunity to become your own best self? Like somehow the process becomes like a laboratory, so to speak. And although you're selling and you're doing all the marketing and so on, we're going to talk about those, but there's actually a parallel principle. Even while you do all the things that you need to do to generate revenue, get customers, make people happy with your company and your brand, at the same time, you're performing inner work, all right? And that's really important, and that's what gives you the freedom to handle your salesmanship in a masterful way. So that's what we're talking about today, and we're going to borrow the principles of self-actualization. You've heard that phrase before when you talk about Abraham Maslow in college and so on. This is all about self-actualization while you're selling, all right? And we're going to borrow principles from the Zen world, the Eastern world. We're going to pull those right into the middle of our secular daily grind, cranking out the prospecting, going and seeing people, trying to get them to talk to you, persuading, manipulating, whatever it is that you're doing. In the middle of all this, weaving Zen wisdom into the unfolding of your practice every single day. That's why we call this the principles of Zen marketing, growing sales while growing as a human being. All right, that's the theme for our show today. That is the big idea, and nobody was ready for it until now, right? Because the whole human development, human potential movement has evolved. It's getting closer and closer to the mainstream of business. There are many, many people that are focused on not just motivation, but self-actualization, becoming the very best person that they can be. Coming to grips with their identity, their destiny, their sense of why I'm here. Now remember, this is very interesting, highly personal, deep stuff that goes on inside of you, while at the same time doing your job in business development, in sales, and so on. It's a very interesting idea. Let's jump in. I've got 12 principles. For you, both at the kind of the worldly level, the everyday world that we all operate in, various things you can do to succeed at that level. But remember, we're trying to go beyond success. That's really what this is about. We're going to go beyond success to significance. Beyond success to significance, and we're going to do that by cultivating the inner game, not just the external game. So every one of these 12 principles is going to include 2 ideas, kind of the obvious conventional sales tip or suggestion, but also an internal exercise that any human being can perform and kind of refine their character, by the way. It's a fascinating principle, and it's here for you today. By the way, this is all brought to you by 2 wonderful sponsors, Curzon Promotional Graphics here in the Omaha, Nebraska area. Outstanding, been around many years, I think 3 decades approximately. They handle all kinds of signage and visual stimuli, shall we say, and we'll get to them in a minute. And then also Alpha Tech One. Alpha Tech One is a new entrepreneurial computer repair operation. They're incredibly convenient. They'll take care of you at the drop of a hat. Very tech savvy. We'll get more about Alpha Tech One in a few minutes. But let's talk about the 12 principles right now of sales development, growing sales while growing as a human being. All right, are we ready for this, everybody? Okay, here we go. Number one, see the customer in yourself. When you're approaching people and you're trying to sit down and talk about and have kind of a face-to-face chat or a sales interview or whatever, the number one thing you want to keep in mind is empathy, right? You want to see how they're similar to you, how you've got something in common, right? Whether it's discussing old family issues or your favorite car, your favorite movie, whatever it is, something where you're kind of connecting with them empathetically, all right? But there's a self-actualization principle that mirrors this but goes deeper, and that is know thyself, and most importantly there, how do you do that? Peel the onion, right? Peel the onion. Remember that we all have elements, conditioning, right? That kind of changes our behavior. You got to pull it off, right? One after another after another. If you've ever been in therapy, that's the first thing that they do. They want to peel the onion. They want to get inside you and find out who you really are, not the persona that you've chosen to wear. All right? Causes a lot of troubles over time. So know thyself, while at the same time empathizing with the customer. All right, let's go on to principle number 2. It's fascinating stuff. Number 2, segment the customer prospect base, all right? Now, this would be like target your customer. Cut it up in certain segments, look at all the people you know, try to figure out who would be most interested in buying your product, slice and dice them as precisely as you can, make sure that they're relevant and so on. So segmentation, very important. But there's another esoteric principle that relates to this, right? Inside of each of us, now this is new news. Inside of each of us, there are these segments. There are multiple selves inside of all of us. We're not, as they said many years ago in the ancient times, we are legion. We are legion. This is why, if you doubt what I'm saying, by the way, just think about in January, somebody comes along and says, well, how you doing there with your holidays? Oh, I'm going to lose 20 pounds. I'm going to lose 20 pounds. I'm going to work on, by March, I'll have dropped 20 pounds. March comes around, 20 pounds still on, right? What happened there, right? One person inside of you said, hey, I can do this. Let's go get it, right? But there are other people inside of all of us. It's like a symphony. We're all playing a different instrument, and there's a lot of dissonance. They're not fully integrated. They don't believe, and they're not on the same page. What's going on inside of you is fragmented, right? So here you are, right? You're segmenting the customer base, trying to look for the segments that are most interested in your offering. But at the same time, think about this now, at the same time, you also have a segmentation inside of you with your very own personality, your very own sense of identity. And this is why you're pulled a variety of different ways and have difficulty making a consistent and cohesive decision. All right, that's principle number 2. Are you liking this? Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, number 3. You know, people get down, they don't make the numbers. You know, they don't hit those numbers, those sales numbers, you know, and we didn't get the goal. We didn't get to the goal. So the objective here on the worldly level is simply stick with the process. Don't worry about the outcome. Just get into the process, perfect the process. Obviously, you got to play the numbers, but you also want to look for the right indicators. You got to get started early in the morning. There's all kinds of things. Stick with the process. Don't worry about the goals will come. Those will be achieved. All right. So there you go. That's a sales principle that's relevant. A lot of people go, yeah, I need to do that. But also stepping back now, we're going to step back and look at the whole process of our career, business development, all the things that we're doing or not doing. And so here's the cliche. We've heard it all before, but here's the Zen principle. Life is a journey. Life is a journey, not a destination. Okay? In other words, same deal, right? Same deal. At one level, just get into there and follow the sales process. It'll work out okay. At another level, remember, macro Life is a journey. Life is a journey. Just stick with the journey. Follow the journey and enjoy the journey. All right, number 4, make every unsuccessful sale successful by learning something new, right? Every time you get a no, some of us get frustrated and get angry. Some of us get flat out resentful, right? But we forget that the real jewel, the real gem in the interaction is the opportunity to think in a broader category and learn something new. Learn something new about yourself, about them, about the company, whatever. That's the process that will enable you to be a successful salesperson. But now, self-actualization comes into play, right? Self-actualization really takes the same idea but goes deeper. And here's the Zen principle, right? Obstacle is school. Transform negativity into positivism. Now think about that, right? Obstacle, when it comes along, you're not able to make the sale, the person's evasive, they can't commit, you don't know if you can close the deal. It's very frustrating. You're in school. You're in school. And if somebody walks out and says, what's the point of all of this? I'm going to tell you, I'm going to give you the point right now before we have a break here in this show. The point is to be able to foster the internal resources, the psychology, the mentality, the attitude that enables you to transform negativity into positivism. Negativity into positivism. That's exactly right. Now, that's a big, big, big leap. A lot of people say, oh, yeah, I've heard that before. No. It takes a lot of resources internally, a lot of work, a lot of discipline, a lot of self-awareness, a lot of mindfulness. You've got to see the negativity coming at you, what you're really feeling. Stop, substitute a positive idea for a negative idea. All right, we've gotten about almost halfway through this revelatory presentation about Zen marketing growing your own humanness, your own depth, your own character, your own sense of fulfillment as a human being. While at the same time, out there banging away, making the sale, doing the persuading, living with rejection. Happens, doesn't it? All right. So, let's take a quick break here. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the sponsors, Careers On Promotional Graphics and Alpha Tech One. They're both awesome organizations. We're going to take 1 minute and chat about both of them and kind of this, and then get right back to Zen marketing and growing as a human being while growing your sales revenues. Now, I'm going to talk to you about Curzon, that's C-U-R-Z-O-N, Promotional Graphics. This is a rare company. A lot of organizations have had to change dramatically as they go through the digital transformation that has changed our business era here in the last 10 years or so. But these people, I tell you, they seem to be able to maintain their core, their character, their sense of personality, their commitment to customized service, all that, while at the same time, they've got their right brain creativity. And this is the key. I got to tell you, so many business people out there, they're just grinding it away. They're looking for an extra 0.5% in income or profit or whatever, and it's all about efficiency and so on. They forget all about creativity. So if you go to Curzon Promotional Graphics, they're kind of in the Midtown in Omaha, Nebraska, say, I need to see differently, and I need my customers to see us differently. That's where you need to go at that time, and they'll take care of you. And then they'll produce the material at a great price and so on. But they know that the essence is a new look, and that can energize an entire culture. I've seen it happen several times. All right, so that's Curzon Promotional Graphics. Don't forget about them. Now, there's another company here in town. Nobody knows about them except for this show right here. We're proud to debut Alpha Tech One. By the way, it's ALPHATECHONE.com. Alpha Tech One has taken a page from the grocery delivery business, which is very disruptive. It's changing the whole industry, as well as, I guess you think of Amazon, right? Convenience. Amazon is now delivering prime trucks to the front of your house in 2 hours after you make the transaction. It's an amazing thing. Well, anyway, Alpha Tech One will come to your house, come to your office, get your computer, your laptop, whatever it takes, take it back to their lab, analyze it, fix it, obviously bring it right back to you. My goodness gracious, sakes alive. So Alpha Tech One is the answer for not only the tech illiterate, but the people that just consider themselves too busy to horse around and go to a shop and call somebody and get quotes. Forget all that. Call offatech1.com. They'll take care of you clean as a whistle. Okay. All right, here we go. All right. We're back to Zen marketing. Well, a big idea, because Zen salesmanship and the principles I'm sharing with you are not just everywhere, but what's beneath them, right? Utilizing the friction. You know, in business, there's always friction and confusion. It doesn't work out. Got to go somewhere, and you get a little irritated, and you walk around, and you're uptight, right? You're angry. You don't even know what you're angry about, right? This is very, very common in a standard business day, all right? But I'm sharing principles with you right now that will enable you to embrace, kind of have that peaceful, find that calm area inside of yourself and move forward and enjoy life as a human being, not just as a machine kicking out new sales. All right, so we talked about obstacles, talked about turning a rejection into a positive rather than a negative. So now we're going to go on. Now, you know, marketing and sales are dependent in large part upon awareness. Right? We all know that. And in order to do that, you have to have frequent, continuous messaging. You got your email, social media, you know, there's a lot of different things, maybe postcards, whatever it takes, but it's constantly your messaging, and it's got to be a continuous flow. It can't be that once a month email that you send out whether you have anything to say or not. That's not it. Much more continuous. Well, anyway, there's also at the self-awareness level, right? At the philosophical level, if you make the decision to, let's say I'm going to make the decision to struggle with my ego, all right? I'm going to focus in and identify when my ego is leading me into directions I don't want to lead. Maybe I'm overreacting to something, or I'm feeling bad about that's all ego stuff, right? So let's say you decide, well, I'm going to meditate, I'm going to be more mindful and self-remembering, watch this kind of stuff come up inside of me, right? You have to, just like the messaging we just talked about, marketing, got to be consistent. You've got to have a consistent ritual. You got to do something every morning, breathing, when you go to bed, whatever it is, some consistent ritual that you can stick with for years in order to subordinate your ego and how your life is being lived through the ego. All right? So there's a very interesting idea right there. Find a ritual and practice the ritual. Now let's move on again to marketing and sales. We'll get back to it again. We're at number 6. Relationship. This is what they say. Everybody says this. Relationships are your most important asset. All right? In business, if you know the right people, you're good to go. And this is certainly true in sales and marketing, no doubt about it. But think about relationships and your close friends, your spouse, whatever, your siblings. Relationships with other people are the best way for you to find out who you really are. Yeah. They mirror back to you, right? You hear those little asides. Well, you always do that. You go, I never really thought about that. If you want to know who you are, be with people, both close friends and family, but also strangers that you suddenly interact with, and you hear them say things about you or to you, and you go, I didn't really think of myself that way before. Wow, that's very interesting, right? So form a deeper relationship with yourself, know yourself in broader terms. By the way, also cultivating relationships with sales prospects. Here comes another one, number 7. Reposition your product. This is something I've done several times in my career. I think I'm pretty good at it. Reposition. Come up, reframe it. Find the problem the product solves and reframe it, in different categories. Think of it differently and talk about it. You'll see that in politics. People talk about these problems in different ways. They reframe the problem they think they can solve in politics. But here's where I'm going to challenge you. I'm going to challenge you on this number 7 here, taking this thing deep. Think about your life in a different way. Just as you reposition your product, reposition your life. Think about what that would be. What if I were this? What if I were more like that? All right? That's a very healthy process to go through, a very thoughtful process. Now we're on to number 8. Listen more carefully. This is the sales tip, so to speak. Listen more carefully to the prospect's opinion. Don't defend or even react immediately when they say, well, I don't really need that. We don't have that problem. Everything's cool over here. Probably not for us, Boy, oh boy, isn't that knee-jerk reaction? You just want to jump in there and, kind of argue with them a little bit, let them know, oh, no, you're misunderstanding, blah, 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 blah. Try to not do that. Try to not do that, all right? It really clouds the dialogue, and yet it's very hard to not do. You feel like you got to defend your product, right? But here's the deeper meaning of this particular piece of advice. And here it is. It's summarized in 3 words. It's the shortest Zen advice. Empty your cup. Just think about that for a second. It's a metaphor, of course. Empty your cup. You know, if you have a tea ceremony and a Japanese master is getting ready to put tea in your cup, and you're sitting there going to have tea with this wise old man and learn a lot of stuff real fast. But he puts the tea in the cup, and then he just keeps on going, right? He just keeps on going, and it overflows over the cup. You say, why do you do that? You create this mess. He said, well, it's a great metaphor for what's going on in your head, right? You're so busy thinking about what you want to talk to me about. Your mind is full of all these assumptions and ideas and all these things that you think you know or you used to know or you want to talk about. Your cup is full, and you're not in a position to be able to actually absorb and listen to new ideas, new insights, new wisdom. Very, very important concept that you can apply to your life and live it 24 hours a day. Empty your cup. Let everything go and absorb the truth that is reaching out and offering itself to you. All right, number 9, manage the entire marketing mix. All right, now, you know, a lot of people get hung up. Well, I'm a Facebook specialist. I do Facebook advertising. I'm really good at it. You know, the next guy over here says, well, marketing's really about product development, and I'm coming up with products that people really like and design and all that, and they're worlds apart from each other. If it's possible, as a sales and marketing person, try to manage the whole thing, because only then do you realize the subtle and nuanced harmony or the relationship between all these pieces, the direct mail, then there's the trade show, we have the leads over here, we have our social media presence over here, the product needs to be changed, we've got to rebrand it and come up with a new name for the product. All these things, all these things. It's fascinating, and that's when you understand actually what marketing really is. Now, what's the Zen principle associated with that? Sense the connectedness of life. We're connecting all the marketing and the communications and the press releases and the videos. We're connecting all that, but in a broader sense, sense the connectedness of life. Now, here's a way to start doing that. Take a long walk through a forest or a beautiful park, and you start to see how Mother Nature is doing all these things, and they're working together, and the trees and the grass, and everything is kind of coming together inside of you. Yeah. And you pick up a baby, and all of a sudden you relate to the child, and all of a sudden all these different things you see are coming at you, and they're all connected. They're all connected. But most of the time we're focused on separateness and disconnecting. We're trying to set ourselves apart, and that's a separate thing, and here's this project, and so on, and it's all disconnected. And then we go home at night and we go, oh, life is chaos. Nothing makes sense. Huh? Life is chaos. Nothing makes sense. That's very, very common for busy business people, entrepreneurs, and all I'm saying is look for the connectedness. Sergio Zyman, he used to be the vice president of marketing for Coca-Cola back in the days when there were bears on TV in the North Pole, polar bears. I don't know if you've seen those ads from years ago, and they're drinking Coca-Cola on camera. It was a fascinating advertising campaign, very successful. Somebody said, Sergio, they said, why did you choose to have polar bears drinking your beverage, drinking Coca-Cola? It just seems so anachronistic, so counterintuitive. And Sergio Zyman said it all in one gulp. He said, everything is connected. Everything is connected. So keep that in mind as we go from principle 10 to 11. We're going to keep it quick. You know, the power of testimonials and references, closed deals, that is so true. You got to accumulate them, use them, leverage them. Somebody says, you know, I really like, but I just don't know. Whew, here's what somebody said, just like you, same feelings, went extremely well. Okay, well let's go ahead and do that. That really does make a difference for me, all right? But remember this. There is a law of 3 that has a neutralizing force that transcends dualities. I'm going to tell you a quick story. My wife and I were arguing about something at the kitchen, some minor thing, and we just couldn't seem to resolve the bickering, and in walks our daughter, And she strolls right into the kitchen. She says, "Hi, Mom and Dad, I just love you both so much." And we looked at each other. We said, "What are we talking about?" You know, that just cut through the negativity. It cut through the dualistic. We realized all of a sudden we're a loving family, et cetera, et cetera. So outside third force neutralizes negativity, conflict, and contrast. Now we're on to number 12. We're almost done. Sell during transition periods. Look for change. New people come in to the operation, new VP of marketing, get right over there. Everything happens during transitions and during change. But I'm going to tell you, here's the Zen principle. Here's the Zen principle. You can take this to the bank. Realize that there is nothing but change. Yeah, big picture, nothing but change. So this is it. You're in a fluid, flowing, interconnected world that's constantly changing at the energetic level, and you have an opportunity to be a person that you wanted to be. You're not sure you could ever make it. The salesmanship process, being in business, can become a laboratory, a catalyst for your own becoming, your own self-actualization. Huh? You like that? 12 principles. You'll become a better salesperson, a better marketing person, and you have now the new potential for becoming a more fulfilled, happier, peaceful, calm, harmonious human being as a result of weaving these principles into your internal life, which is where the real reality is. That's where it's all really happening. I'm Len Hinterrocker here on Wowbiz, Nebraska. Thank you so much. This is original content. If you'd like to know more, contact me at Wowbiz Growth Dynamics. Give me a call at 402-208-5519. This is a workshop. It goes deep. This could be an entire day of unfolding and amazement insofar as self-actualization, really understanding what you are now and what you can be. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time on Wowbiz Nebraska. Thank you.